Hey everybody, Vic Lombardi, Ryan Harris back for another edition of Here Come the Irish. This show made possible by all the generous donors of the Notre Dame Giving Society. We don't do it without you. And it seems like Notre Dame gave one away against Louisville. Ryan, you were there. That place looked electric. Of course, we all know Notre Dame is everybody's Super Bowl, but how loud was it there?
It was definitely loud. And beyond that, Vic, the sound system was the loudest sound system that I'd ever been around, and they would play it until they broke the huddle. So it was hard to get plays in. I mean, a lot went wrong for the Irish. And to me, at the end of the day, and look, there's no excuse for the kind of performance they put on. Players would tell you that. Coaches would tell you that. Some key penalties at inopportune times. But it was also the third straight night game and second straight night game on the road. And I bring that up, Vic. You travel a lot with the Denver Nuggets. You know how it is. At Duke, you have a to-the-wire finish, right? That game ended at 11:15. That flight took off at 1 a.m. They got back to South Bend, around 4 a.m. Yes, you get that next day off, but when did you go to sleep and when did you wake up? What meal do you eat when you wake up? And then you had to leave again. And so I just think there are going to be multiple teams that don't have three night games this season, let alone in a row. And I thought at the end of the day, it was just a team that was tired from the travel and tired from playing at night. And you have to know you're going to get every team's best, and Louisville gave them their best.
Listen, we don't have Michigan's Buttercup schedule. I mean, listen to this four-game stretch. You got a ranked, undefeated Ohio State team, followed by a ranked, undefeated Duke team, then a ranked, undefeated Louisville team, and here comes a ranked, undefeated USC team. Try and find another team in the country with that kind of murderer's row of four games. That is ridiculous.
And it's something to be said of the character of the coaches and players that chose to come to Notre Dame knowing that schedule is on there. It says a lot about Sam Hartman that he looked at this schedule and said, yes, I want to come to Notre Dame and do my best here with this schedule, because there's no question they're the most tested team in college football. And for Notre Dame, and for all of us to maintain such a high level of focus, it's a challenge as a human being, right? We're all looking for the break in our day. We're all looking for what we're going to do to relax this weekend. Notre Dame players just have not been able to do that. And they've had to learn about top players throughout the college football landscape, literally from coast to coast here. And it does get daunting. At the same time, it's a challenge they accepted. And Notre Dame knows, coaches know, players know, everyone has to be better. And what I love most of all, Vic, Marcus Freeman, after the game against Louisville, said, hey, it starts with me. It starts with me and the coaches. So we have to look at ourselves. So many coaches would throw players under the bus, say, well, if this play would have happened, it's a different game. But I love the ownership that not only Marcus and his staff has taken, but that example that the young men growing up, learning how to be adults, got to see firsthand.
Yeah, well, let's dissect that Louisville game a little bit here, because it looked like the Irish had something going. And then I knew something was up, Ryan, and I'm sure you did too, as a former offensive lineman. Just unable to win the line of scrimmage, 44 yards rushing. If Notre Dame can't run the ball, there's trouble.
Many teams in the college football landscape, they have 44 yards rushing. It's not going to be good. The biggest issue, as I saw it, in addition to sustained effort, it's not just the first part, but you got to handle movement. And I watched the film. Louisville likes to move around a lot in that front, in that defensive front, caused the offsides penalty. But you have to be able, run scheme wise, to call runs that can capture any movement. And that's something that coaches can start with, and players, they just have to execute. And then when it came to the passing game, I mean, Sam Hartman was under duress all game long. TV, you really couldn't tell how big some of the shots he took were. So at the end of the day, the offensive line just had to be better running the football as well as protecting Sam Hartman, and both of those things were rarities being seen as the game unfolded.
Yeah, I mean, he was sacked 5 times, but he was hit countless times. Do you chalk that up as just a bad night for the O-line, or is there something to learn from that game that they can take into the SC game?
Well, I think number one, it was kind of the first time they rotated some guards. Some other players came into play. Maybe you do that a different week, maybe when you're playing Stanford or something like that. And I don't know as well as the coaches do what they have in that offensive line room. You have some players growing up That's a big issue, and you do have to be patient. But at the same time, the leaders on the offensive line, the leaders on the team have to make sure you set a standard for performance. And what that sounds like on the field is you go to your coach and say, Coach, call this play, call that play, call these two plays the next time we get the ball. Leaders have to help communicate that to the coaches as well. But there's some technique issues that can be fixed. And at the end of the day, it's a decision the players have to make to play each and every snap their highest level.
I thought the most exciting play of the game was that deep shot to Jordan Faison, and he comes up underneath the ball, his first career touchdown. So is he now on scholarship for the football team? Because he was a lacrosse scholarship guy. Did they just switch it up?
I think they added. I'm not sure if lacrosse players get full scholarships, so I think going to the football side may have helped him, and then Frida. I don't know the specifics, but Coach Freeman did say he's got a football scholarship now. I mean, and Vic, that touchdown, watching it from the booth where I was, Sam Hartman threw the ball, and Faison was on like a 25-yard line. The speed that he turned on, he pulled away from his defender by like 2 yards a step, caught it in stride. So happy for him, and really happy for Notre Dame lacrosse to get a little more attention with all the success that they've had.
Yeah, Notre Dame lacrosse has become a powerhouse in its own right. Mitchell Evans, offensively, I thought again shined. If he's open, get him the ball because he makes plays, doesn't he?
He absolutely does, and teams are now starting to double team him and kind of give him the Michael Mayer treatment. So I love that Holden Stays got involved. Would love to see a little more Jordan Greathouse, and Jaden Thomas too has another gear he has to find. And I'm being honest here, I think he's an excellent player, and there's more in his tank, more speed, more physicality. It's up to him if he wants to go and do it. So the receiving core has been the light spot in terms of strength for this offense, and moving forward, I think defensive line and wide receiver are going to be keys of interest and focus, not only for recruiting, but in the transfer portal as well.
Yeah, you speak the truth there, especially when you got a quarterback running for his life. Receivers got to help him. Everybody's got to help him in that situation. Okay, let's talk SC. And part of me is happy that SC survived last week against Arizona because I want Notre Dame to give the Trojans their first L of the season. I want it to come at Notre Dame Stadium. I want to see it there. I want to experience it there. And I know you want to feel it there. SC's defense is not that good, but Caleb Williams has a way of making up for everything that's not good on that team.
Well, and that's where it starts, Caleb Williams. Now, I will remind fans that last year this game was close in that fourth quarter until a key turnover near the red zone. And you have a better quarterback this year, a more experienced offensive line. But more than anything, the confidence of this team needs to come back. And on defense, you have to stop their big running back, Marshawn. I mean, this guy is unbelievable. Very talented runner. He can add to the Caleb Williams attack. Of course, they got Brandon Rice as well, the son of Jerry Rice, legendary receiver, former CU receiver. So there are playmakers there on offense, but defensively, it's a big game for Howard Cross, huge game for Riley Mills, and the defensive ends have to not go beyond the quarterback with Caleb Williams, but pressure the inside shoulders of their tackles to make sure that pocket collapses, and then they have a great angle to get out if Caleb Williams does retreat out of the pocket, as he often does, and wind around to gain some momentum on his throws.
See, that's what scares me about SC. Their defense is porous. They've given up points to everybody. But offensively, even if you have the right game plan against Caleb Williams, even if you do everything right, he could find a way to wiggle out of a bad situation. If you're a defensive coordinator this week, do you set up a spy, or do you just run with what you got and hope that you can contain him?
Absolutely. You run a spy, but you change who that spy is on given situations, right? Maybe when you're to the field, right, on the left hash and the right hash is all that space. Well, maybe that spy is coming from that right side, and you can rush the passer if you think that he's in the pocket, or you can drop with the idea that after 3 steps after you drop, you're coming up forward anyways to shut down any lanes. That could be a defensive lineman dropping off. If you want to go 5 defensive linemen and then put somebody back, or a player like a Snead who can go over and cover the receiver as well as then break off to be a contained player for Caleb Williams. So there's a variety of ways you can do it defensively, but absolutely you have to key in on the most dynamic playmaker. It's not Marshawn Lloyd, the running back. It's not Brendan Rice, the wide receiver. Those players are good too. It's the Heisman Trophy winning Caleb Williams.
Well, it's supposed to be a temperature in the low 50s at kickoff, prime football weather. Before we give you final thoughts on this game, how about a quick hype video going into SC?
Only a few rivalries in college football are still special.
It is a series that started back in 1926.
This is one of those games.
But it has never been more dramatic than it is today.
Most rivalries are about the team across the street.
Notre Dame and Southern Cal.
But this one's nationwide.
The most spectacular of all the intersectional series in the realm of collegiate football.
Legends are born in this game.
It's a score that demands to be settled in prime time.
The Irish have won it.
Harrison Smith sealed the football game.
It's an honor to play college football.
Notre Dame does it better than anybody in the country.
It's a privilege to do it at Notre Dame.
It's time for you to put your stamp on this rivalry.
It's always special when the Trojans and the Irish get together.
All right, Ryan, this is it. You've got 2 losses already on the season. If you're Notre Dame and the college football playoff of 2 losses, good luck getting there. What do you have to play for? What do you tell your team going into the rest of the season?
Well, number one, it starts with the shillelagh. You get to play for the shillelagh in this game. Vic, haven't you ever wanted to win a shillelagh in your life? I know all of you watching have. Go win the shillelagh. And at the end of the day, have fun. There's a lot of players that are going to be graduating. You don't want to be ho-humming, the donkey and Winnie the Pooh. You don't want to be Eeyore coming in there all grumpy. Have fun with the opportunity to play. But the number one thing, Vic, in big games, be fast and physical. The only 2 things you need to do. Mistakes are going to happen, but go knock the heck out of somebody and make sure that it's a physical game at every position, and that way you can come out victorious.
Well, I'm sure Notre Dame's going to get used to the lights. They've played under the bright lights every week, it seems, so far this season. So here comes another one. A 4th straight ranked undefeated opponent. This one would mean a little more. It's Southern California. Ryan, thanks, buddy. Have a great call in South Bend, and hopefully you get out of there with a dub.
Thank you. Love you, brother. And Irish fans coming to the game, be louder than you've ever been in your life. Let's go.
We leave you with the trumpets under the dome.